It's hard to remember being stuck in my home this long. It's hard to remember only getting to have fun once a week on the Yeah Come On show. But I will tell you, we're going to have a blast today. We've got a huge guest, and I kept it on my calendar, and I don't need one of y'all to tell me. It is the Yeah Come On show 1 year anniversary.
Woo! Thanks, Tyler.
I'm still fading the volume out from the intro.
Damn you, Ty. This is big, boys. I'm a toast to the Yeah Come On show and its participants.
Cheers.
Oh, and I also want to thank the people that make it happen, and that's Oxygen Financial. Go to oxygenfinancial.com, ask for Ted Jenkins. Circle 285. If you got issues with your insurance, and I've talked to more and more people that are like, man, I'm trying to put in a claim, and they're like fighting me on it. Or they're telling me I've already had 2 claims and they're not going to pay for it. And I've been with this company for 22 years. There's too much of that going on. Get away from that. Go to Circle 285 and get yourself a quote. It's free. Tell them Southside sent you. And lastly, Dave Markwell, Ridgeline Counseling. For those that are going through it, and he believes in this show so much, he feels like we're reaching a lot of crazy people he can help, and that's positive. I like it. And he is signed on for another month, boys. Ridgeline Counseling. Yeah, come on.
You come out.
You know, because this show has been on for a year, and it's going places. I will tell you today it's going places, and I'm going to keep this microphone held up. I'm going to set it down for a second because I don't need it, but I'm going to use the fake mic. And I'm used to doing this on Bailey and Southside because this is how I do a damn morning show that I don't realize I don't need this mic in my hand anymore. But I will put it up to introduce our next guest, because our next guest is used to being introduced by a guy on a microphone. He's huge. And it's a little surprise. I know for a fact.
Hold on, sorry. That was a mistake. Just say that again. And he's huge.
And he's huge. And I know it's a surprise to both of you, but I've worked hard on this one. Worked hard. I made phone calls, and you two are a fan of this guy. I feel like I've actually done something on the show, and I'm bringing something to the table that you two assholes don't know about. Now, this
my background's a bit of a hint.
I will shit myself for this show.
Way to go. Way to ruin it. That's why you're the on again, off again Tyler Maynard, you dick.
There's a lot of wrestlers that they could guess here.
I mean, Brett Barney, will you talk to me? I try to do something acting like I worked hard, that I'm surprising you. Now it's obvious. Hold on. Now that it's obvious that both of you are in on it, Brett Barney, is there anything you want to say? I mean, what the hell?
It's obvious that Tyler doesn't care. He didn't want us to even reach 1 year. That's why he's trying to ruin everything you say.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, oh, you thought the first year was good. Let me make the second year even gooder. And by gooder, he means worse.
Even gooder.
No, I believe what Brett Barney's saying.
I took the glasses off. This is getting
Trying to
furious.
sabotage this on purpose. Get out of
Do
here.
you see, Tyler, that our glasses are off? We're watching you. I know that you're tired of working with 2 conservatives. I know you're tired of being attached to 2 people that make this country work. Where'd he go?
I'm gone. No, I'm kidding.
Where'd he go? Get back here. Don't you leave. Don't you ever leave.
It's the equivalent of me walking out of the room as you're talking to me.
No, you take it. You take it. All right, so you're giving a hint of who our guest is going to be.
Yeah,
Look.
it's always a good tease. Whet the appetite a bit.
All right, before our guest comes out, I want to ask Brett Barney.
Appetite is wet.
What?
I've never been like that.
It's a
My
phrase.
appetite.
You know?
Wet.
Are y'all done?
It's so hard not to talk over each other on Zoom.
Well, that's where you have to concentrate and be a professional.
Oh,
This
my.
is why you're the off-air Tyler Maynard. I'm letting you on. You got to sense it. I can't teach. I've been doing this too long. I know. All right, Brett Barney, real quick. If Tyler doesn't interrupt us, is there any come-oners at all? Did we have any come-oners before we introduce our guest?
Lita Sparks hit us up at the Yeah Come On show. This is on our YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram and hit us up on Twitter. She said She was talking about Riley Perez. I thought he was The Rock, too. He's a good-looking man. Steve, you may have some competition with last week's guest.
I'm about to say, I look at myself, especially now as I'm putting on all these expensive lotions and potions that are supposed to make me look 10 years younger, and I've Botox. I hate it when a dude comes on the show that I honestly feel like is hotter than us or me.
You deal with that every week with me, though.
Oh.
No, you're a cutie. Hell, Tyler, for a leftist, you're kind of cute too, I guess. I know you're going to make some girl that has never seen the sun really happy with odd place tattoos.
Steve, just remember, what I lack in height, I make up for in girth, all right?
Okay, so you got a beer can penis or you're fat?
I mean, can I say both? Both of them?
Okay.
Penis. They call that a chode, I believe.
Chode. Tyler, do you want to talk about your penis? Is it thin and white?
It's not thin. No, it's got some. I'm not even getting into this. Good Lord.
You almost went there.
I forgot that we're not just conference calling the three of us.
I love it. I love it.
The news being out there about what I'm packing. But.
Awesome.
I got a lady friend coming over. She can do the talking later.
Yeah, we'll interview her. Hi, my name's Mary. I'm currently having sex with Tyler Maynard. What would you like to know?
Oh my God.
He's a great lover.
You set better ground rules. Don't invite a girl over to have her come talk.
No.
Oh my God. I also have written out the longest introduction ever for this guest. Look at this. I did it myself.
Oh my Lord.
I'm just amazed that's not in crayon with pictures.
2 pages? What the hell?
Those are actual words?
They are, because I know most about this guest. I know a lot about him anyway, but I had to get clarification, and I feel like you got to mention all this stuff because the dude had one of those quick careers, and he got into a sport that is made for 20-year-olds in his mid-30s, and I just thought it was huge. So I'm going to
put more hints. There's not many guys that got in that late, so now people know.
Well, I wouldn't have to tease it if you didn't have the effing background that you have. Look at me. I'm in a simple-ass room. I got an old-school "Yeah, come on" sign. That's a guest bed that any one of you alcoholics could sleep in if you came over.
Oh, yeah.
And, and then
bring a lady friend and defile it, or no?
Yeah. You know what? I've only slept in one room.
In so many places, and now you're a hypocrite. You won't let me come and bang a girl in your bed?
I would let you sleep as long as y'all don't scream out liberal shit while you're making love. As long as I don't have to hear about
like Karl Marx. Yes.
I was thinking more like eliminate my student debt for free.
Free college for all.
We should all get paid the same. Everyone should be equal. We're all born naked.
I got my stimulus check. I should be getting that shit every month, man. I'll tell you.
That's why your ass is happy. You're out blowing money. Probably buying new Tivas.
No, I've never worn Tivas in my life. That's disgusting.
Tyler, how many pairs of sandals do you own?
One, and they're for the beach only.
There's no way you only own one.
One pair.
What are those shoes that are made of like old recycled garbage?
I'm about to get those toe shoes, those rubber ones where all your toes go.
You would.
You know what he does? He wears those Kemp shoes made out of like Kemp, whatever
That's
Kemp is.
Kemp, you mean?
Garbage shoes.
Yeah, and he has his going to protest Tivas. Then he has his hanging out at the house Tivas, and then he's got like his Friday night Tivas. He got a couple pair of Tivas. The Friday night Tivas are just black.
I'm like a black man with his sneakers, but with sandals. Yeah,
that's it. Well, look, I just want to go into a commercial right now because I'm getting called. We're about to have our guest on. That I want to thank Tyler for hinting to who it is. I want to thank you for stealing my thunder for acting like I pulled something off on you guys, knowing I didn't. But I did come through, and I wrote my own intro. So bite me. We'll be right back with the Yeah Come On show after this message from Ridgeline Counseling and our good friend, David Markwell.
I'm David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. The current situation we're in is bringing all kinds of issues into our lives, everything from stress and anxiety to frustration, bouts of depression and loneliness. Well, we're here to help at Ridgeline Counseling. You can reach us at 770-993-9700, or you can email us at ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. Currently, we're offering telemental services through video and phone platforms, and in a few weeks, we'll be transitioning back to in-person office visits. In the meantime, stay safe. We'll get through this. Yeah, come on.
Born in 1956, grew to 6'5", 248 pounds, and broke into the business he would make a career of in 1988. Before that, don't worry about what he did. But I will tell you, he was scouted by many college scouts for basketball, and he was a nightclub owner. Then it happened. He became a wrestler in 1991. He also became the oldest rookie in pro wrestling history. He's a 3-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, a 2-time WCW United States Heavyweight Champion, a 4-time WCW World Tag Team Champion, and a 1-time WCW World Television Champion. But then, what did the WCW did? They sold it in 2001, so then he signed on with the WWF, which would later become the WWE. He's a 1-time WWF European Champion, a 1-time WWF World Tag Team Champion, worked in TNA, which I think he was always into, from 2004 to 2005. And on March 31st, 2017, he officially was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. In 2011, he launched DDP Yoga. Hundreds of thousands of people have purchased the program, the DVDs. Subscribe to its one-of-a-kind DDP Yoga Now app. He is the wrestler, the fitness instructor, the motivational speaker, the actor. He is Diamond Dallas Page on the Yeah Come On show.
What's up?
Dude, could you have done some more crap that I had to read? My God.
There's a novel.
Dude, you just could have said WWE Hall of Famer. Boom. Going right to the finish.
Right.
That would have worked just as good.
I got to tell you, when I looked at your career, I'm like, I know the blood, sweat, and tears. I also know you getting into this in your mid-30s. It hurt. I mean, a lot of these guys were doing this stuff in their 20s, so I didn't want to overlook anything. And if I know you stayed in the club scene for a while, having a good time, and something must have hit you and said, I want to wrestle.
Well, more than anything, it was I knew I should have done it. When I was 23, I tried to wrestle. I had 3 matches. I sucked. I hurt my knee really bad in the 3rd match, and I was just taking some time down, and I got a chance to run my first club. And it was a small little rock and roll club, but, it was all about the booze, the broads, and the party, man. I was having too much fun, and I wasn't – next thing you know, a year would go by, 2 years went by, 3 years go by, I still haven't gone back to going after the dream, and then wrestling blew up huge in the 80s. And I was so pissed that I wasn't a part of it. I stopped watching. I stopped watching completely for a couple of years. And then one day I was literally, flicking the channels with my hand. And I came across Jesse Ventura, and he had this do-rag on, a crazy sunglasses and a boa and a leather coat. And he had so much energy. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then the first guy to come through on the way to on the ring, through the curtains, was a guy with carrying a bag over his shoulder and a Fu Manchu and a long hair, Jake the Snake Roberts, and boom, I was pulled right back in. And then it was just about having fun and being a fan and, being in the nightclub business. And then Jake ended up coming to my club in Fort Myers, Florida. And we became drinking buddies. And next thing you know, I got a picture. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you something. I got a picture of Ted. Remember the $1 Million Man? Ted DiBiase?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a picture on my wall. Me and him.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a bottle of tequila. We're doing 20-count shooters. But I had a bunch of the boys come in, and I really started to realize I blew it. Like I should have, been a part of that. And at some point, I just decided I'm going to try to go back. I'm too old to be a wrestler. I was 31 at the time. I was like, but maybe I could be a manager. And one night at the club, we got drunk as skunks, and we all started talking about wrestling. And that night, I just started saying, we started talking about wrestling and what could have been. And then, well, what could I do now? And I said, well, I'm too old to be a wrestler, but I could be a manager. And Jimmy Hart, he has the Hart Foundation. I could be Diamond Dallas Page and have the Diamond Exchange. And then I came up with Diamond Dolls. I said, there's not many good-looking women in wrestling, except for Miss Elizabeth, who was beautiful, but she was like girl next door beautiful. I said, what if I had a whole stable of the girls and I called them Diamond Dolls and they were stripper hot? And Smokey was like, oh, that'll be a stretch, and boom, boom, and drinking. And I wrote it all down. I wrote it all down on this blotter pad in front of my desk. There's like 15 of us drinking till 4 a.m. We cashed out our drawers. By that time, it wasn't a little rock and roll bar. I had this huge dance club in Fort Myers, Florida. So about a week later, I get interviewed for, and this is all how shit just happens like this. If you're putting the work in, if you're throwing ideas in the universe, everything I've ever thrown out there has come back to me. And so here's this shit written on my blotter desk: Diamond Dallas Page, the Diamond Exchange, the Diamond Dolls. And I did all my own radio commercials for my club. And there was a local cable news network that was called the Party News Network. And it was always up on the hottest thing, whether it was a band coming to the Lee Civic Center or a big fair that they were doing, club thing. And I did all my own radio commercials. And occasionally when I got to, Wednesday hot legs contest, this guy might show up. Ooh, yeah, dig it, hot legs. Don't miss it. Yeah, thinking, hot legs. And then I might throw in, let me tell you something, brother. And then I'd do Hulk or I'd do Jesse. And because they saw them in the club, they didn't know if it was them or me doing it or having someone impersonate them. So they did this story on me. And it starts out with me in my 62 pink Cadillac. And it ends up with me in the radio station. I'm wearing a WrestleMania t-shirt. I was just a mark. I was just a fan. And it ends up in my office. And at some point they say, so where does the voice come from? And I look down on my desk, and there's that blotter pad. And there's a pair of white sunglasses right next to it. And if the sunglasses aren't there, I don't know if I do it or not, but they were. And I just grabbed those sunglasses, I put them on, and I said, the voice comes from Diamond Dallas Page, did it. I was born to be a professional wrestling manager. It's big, it's bad, it's Norma Jean's voice. And then I went back to talking, and somebody saw it and asked me to be on the radio show. And I'm like, dude, I don't really do it. I was just playing. He's like, it's radio. Who cares? We're all just playing. And he tells me that Captain Lou Albano will be on the show. I'm like, will I get to talk to Captain Lou? He's like, absolutely. You're my professional. You're my sidekick. You're the guy who knows wrestling. I'm like, I'm in. I want to talk to Captain Lou. Then Sergeant Slaughter came in about a month later. And I did it again. And afterwards, he's like, man, you got to do something with this Diamond Dallas Page thing. I'm like, do what? I'm just making shit up. He goes, I got a friend of mine who used to promote for boxing. Now he's promoting for the AWA in Minneapolis. And he gave me his number, Rob Russ. And I go, what am I, not his number, his address. I said, what am I going to do with this? He's like, I don't know, make a tape of yourself, something. So I sat down and I created 3 characters, 3 guys friends of mine who wanted to be wrestlers. One I called Big Bad John. And he worked in my diamond mines in Johannesburg, South Africa, don't you know? And then I had Rock Hard Rick, a buddy of mine who was a shredded bodybuilder, who was like 260, super handsome dude. And then I had Ted E. Bear. And Teddy Bear, he was a midget, and he came out with the Diamond Dolls. And I sent this videotape to the AWA. Now, I have all this shit I'm telling you about. I've got the video of being on that Party News Network. I got the video of me interviewing with these guys and having a Gene Okerlund guy interview us. And I send that tape to the AWA, and I'm not bullshitting you. 2 weeks later, they call me. And they say, Dallas, we want to bring you and your boys in for a tryout. We're going to be in Vegas. Here's the dates. But we do have one question, because we've shown your tape around, and everybody kind of likes your shtick. They like your energy. But where are you guys working? No one's ever heard of you guys before. And I'm like, well, Rob, actually, none of those guys can wrestle. And he's like, what? And I'm like, none of those guys can wrestle, man. It's like a secret society. No one can figure out how to get in. So what ended up happening, don't call us, we'll call you. And then for the real wrestling fans out there who know who Paul Heyman is, one of the biggest stars in the world of professional wrestling today, as a manager, he was Paulie Dangerously back then. He left the AWA, went to the NWA, left a huge void for a guy that could talk. And next thing I know, I'm in Vegas, and this is me in 1988 with my tag team, Bad Company. Can you see them?
Oh, I see it.
And that's one of the hot Diamond Dolls that I had back there. And it was a lot of fun. So that's how it all started for me, you know?
Dude, that is so awesome. And, you know, my team here on the Yeah Come On show, my co-host I want to introduce to you is Mr. Brett Barney. And my on-again, who's off-again a lot of times, is Tyler Maynard. And he's running all the controls for us. And both of these guys are huge fans of yours. And I let them know that I've known you since like the mid-'90s, since back at 96 Rock and Christopher Rude and the Wake Up Crew, and through the regular guys. And then now, of course, Bailey and Southside. And Bailey's had a relationship with you for years. And I'm like, I'll call DDP because this is our 1-year anniversary for doing our podcast.
Oh, cool.
And we had to have a big guest. So you're it, dude.
And I see my boys got the WCW stuff for the backdrop back there.
Yeah.
Walking out of the entrance. Yeah.
No,
awesome.
definitely. So we just wanted to catch up with you. I mean, I definitely want to get into the yoga, but these guys, you know, I remember seeing you at the airport after we'd had you in the first time, and I didn't get a chance to go over and say what's up, but I'm like, you know, Dallas is one of these guys that's just a God-given promoter. So I could see you wanting to be a manager in the beginning, but then you're also big, and I guess you're strong. So then you're like, you know, I could do this my damn self. And I know Jake the Snake helped you out getting you in. And the next thing I know, I mean, you know, everything that I read at the beginning, holding a microphone, just trying to be over the top, those are a lot of years, a lot of hard work, and you had to catch up fast to pull off what you did in your career. And I know what getting in the Hall of Fame meant to you. So these dudes each got a couple of questions for you, Dallas, if that's cool, because you were definitely dealing with super fans here.
Oh, that's awesome, though, you know, because that's what makes everything, like, without the people who really cared about my wrestling career, my whole DDP yoga career would mean nothing. You know, because they were the bulk of the people who believed in me starting out. And now I've got hundreds of thousands of people who are on our app and blowing up. And half of them are still wrestling fans. The other half are just inspired. So go ahead, ask your question, boys.
I'll fire off first time. You want me to?
Played back and forth or whatever.
All right. So I don't know if you know this because you definitely don't. You and I have actually hung out before for a couple hours.
Where?
I would say probably about 9 or 10 years old. My dad had season tickets to the Hawks game, and I didn't really know much about wrestling at the time. And you were sitting next to us in our seats, and Harry the Hawk brought your wife, the Nitro girl,
Right, Kimberly.
Yeah, out on the court to dance, and I didn't know who you were, and I was like, what are you laughing about? He's stealing your girl. Then I came to find out, and I actually still have your autograph from that night that you signed me.
That's awesome.
When I was a kid. So I thought that'd be funny to get to reconnect with you.
Did I hit Harry with a diamond cutter?
I think you did.
I did. I think I did. Bang!
But I was kind of curious about this. Our show is called the Yeah Come On Show. As you probably know, Steve is pretty well known for his saying, Yeah Come On. He actually has it trademarked. And I was curious, did you ever try and trademark Bang?
I did. It was too hard a word to. And if I would have gotten the trademarks when I wanted them, and I didn't have bad trademark attorneys, I trademarked this, and not people doing it, the logo of this, because that became synonymous with, me greeting the people. I think this part got me more over in wrestling because it connected me to the people, and so I wasn't going to let anybody just take that. Bang was like, there's certain things you just can't do because it's common. Like everybody owns it. You have to have something like, yeah, come on, or three-peat. Like, I don't know if you guys are watching The Last Dance, but everybody seems to be watching that. It's phenomenal. But they didn't really get into it. But Riley had trademarked three-peat. So anybody at three-peat after that got to pay him. Big money.
Damn.
Big money.
Big bang. Money. Bang, bang.
Didn't Jay-Z try and use your diamond hand logo?
All I can say is that matter's been resolved.
Right.
That's all I can say. Hey, I don't want to piss that son of a bitch off now, I'm good with Jay-Z. I'm good.
What you got, Tyler?
All right, so you wrestled with Karl Malone and Jay Leno. I'm sure I know the answer to this, but who is harder to train with? Who had the most difficulty getting the beats and stuff like that?
Jay was a great entertainer. Right. He had no wrestling ability at all.
Right, so
but he knew how to work. But he knew how to work the crowd.
The athletic ability versus the crowd working. I could see that.
And we really, we shot the angle with Rodman and Hogan being on the show.
Right.
And me and Carl coming in and shooting that angle on the Tonight Show. That nothing had never been done like that before.
Yeah, I forgot the emotion. Right.
Yeah, and Rodman, Rodman was in the year before because he loves Hulk and he loves wrestling, and he came in and it stirred up, a lot of attention, but it was Dennis Rodman. And, Dennis is a bit of a freak and, wrestling's a bit of a circus. And so when he came back the second time, originally it didn't get much hype. Then we worked the angle with Carl. And then it blew up insanely. Now, to give you guys a great, I was telling you about throwing it out in the universe. Like, literally, people don't understand the power they have, that they can literally manifest things from just a dream to a reality. And a lot of people don't really understand that. I talk about a little in my book, Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. It's on Amazon. It's only $16, but it's a great blueprint for teaching you how to own it. And it's whatever you want it to be. In this scenario, it was manifesting something Hulk had said to me in 1994. He came up to me, and I'll give you the cliff notes. After I got done with the match, and he basically wanted to know how the hell I was getting so much better because I was very rarely on TV. And at that time, and I wasn't on TV because the bookers really didn't believe, the writers didn't believe I had what it took to be a top guy or in that main circle of guys that were always on. So they'd bring me on occasionally, but Hulk saw every time I came back, I was doing something different. I was getting a little bit more interaction with the crowd, and he asked me, he goes, "This is what they're doing with you." We were in Germany at the time, and Hulk had come in. It was his first big tour. And because he never did house shows. But the big tours he would do. because he got paid big jack every time. And bottom line is, he was like, this is what they're doing with you. Let put you on the road so you get to learn your craft, right? I'm like, no. The only reason I'm on this card is because my real name before I changed it to Dallas Page was Page Joseph Falkenberg, and the Krauts love their Germans, and I got a smoking hot wife that walks me to the ring. So that's why I'm here. He goes, well, how are you getting – he goes, whatever you're doing. And what would happen is I went back down to power plant where I learned how to wrestle, and I went back there. And if I wasn't on the road, I was at the power plant. Every day I was training the young guys. At that time, I was like 38 and still haven't gone anywhere. And I figured out something that applies to every single thing in life. The more you teach someone something that you know, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. So that's how I was doing it. And every week, every time that if it had been 3 weeks or a month before I've been on TV, I had all that time to prepare all new stuff. And Hulk saw it, and he said to me, he said, no matter what, he said, you need to keep doing what you're doing because it's not today, tomorrow, next year, the year after. He said, but somewhere down the line, I honestly believe, Dallas, that you have the ability to draw huge money with me. And he walked away. And all I could think of was, did Hulk Hogan just say that I could draw huge money to me? Did he just say that he watched my matches? Like, holy shit. And I started manifesting that in my brain, like, it's going to happen. I'm going to work a main event with Hulk Hogan. I'm going to work many main events. And I vision it in my brain. And I gave it a 5-year deal, that it's going to happen in 5 years. It'll happen. And around the 4-year mark, because this was 94 when we had that discussion. In 98, that's when Malone and Rodman and me and Hogan combined at, on the Tonight Show. And it was the second highest drawing pay-per-view in the history of WCW.
Wow.
So what Hulk had said to me 4 years before, because I worked at it. Like Hulk didn't have to work at it. He was already the guy,
Right.
I had worked my ass off to get there. I came up with the idea of me and Malone versus Rodman and Hogan. I came up with the idea to shoot the angle on the Tonight Show, all that shit. If you want to watch a really good special on it, WWE just did a cool thing on their WWE network, which is only $9.99. And bottom line is that it's a really good story. They didn't interview Malone, which I didn't understand, but they interviewed Rodman and me and Hogan, Bischoff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to tell you, for these two guys, that are just such fans, being able to have you in the studio as many times as we have, knowing what a great dude you are, and how involved your daughters are, in wrestling / DDP yoga. I will tell you that it was weird for me. I have not once but twice found myself in an exotic location with a different chick both times doing my part. But I'm in Jamaica and I get on a plane and there's your daughter. I'm like, Brittany?
Brittany.
What the hell are you doing? I said, what's up? She's like, Dad's got me working. I'm like, working? And she'd been doing like 4 to 6 weeks or something, hitting these resorts, spreading the word of DDP yoga and hosting it. And then I got on another plane. I think I was coming out of the Bahamas, same damn thing. I'm like, let me guess, you're doing DDP yoga. So you have been spreading this and working so hard since 2011. The wrestling thing, I know how much that means to you, and the acting and every little thing you've done. But DDP yoga, I've been telling people we're going to have you on. I'm like, I know he can change people's lives. He can take somebody that walks with a limp and make them walk better. He can take somebody that has a 60-year-old, 65-year-old body that played athletics that can barely get down, take their toes and put it over their head. DDP yoga can do that, 100%.
The Snake documentary was so good. That was amazing.
It really was. So that, to me, is as big or bigger than wrestling. You've come from an entertainment point of view, but how awesome, dude, for you to have helped as many people as you've helped with DDP Yoga. And I know you're making money, but I also know it's not about the money with you. It's really about helping people. I know where your heart is. And that's what makes it even cooler to be friends with you.
I had a quick question. I know you worked with Kurt Hennig a lot, and
With who?
Rude got inducted at the same time into the Hall of Fame. I actually grew up living in Rick Rude's neighborhood and actually attended his funeral. I was just wondering if you had any like good stories, or did you work with him at all back in the day?
No, I was wrestling, but I was at the bottom of the card, and of course Rick was main event.
Right.
The stories I have about Rick, I can't really tell on here because they're really good. I mean, like they're like I wouldn't want any family member to hear them. Rick was a very special dude.
He was.
Let's just put it like that.
Loved him.
He left this world way too early. I had a lot of fun with him. One story I will tell you, he let us drive his, we wanted to leave Daytona, we're wrestling Daytona, and he had a mint conditioned Impala convertible. It was just a beautiful car. Right. It was 20 some odd years old, mint condition, totally redone. And me and Kevin Nash were driving in the front. We're nobody, the bottom of the card. Jake is in the back seat. We got a case of beer. We're going down I-10, and there's not a light on I-10. If you've driven I-10, it's can be really dark on that road. And as we're driving, those old cars can shut off and keep going. A new car shuts off, it stops. But those old cars, you can start them, turn them on, turn them off, driving, turn them on, turn them off. And I was going, man, feel the AC in here. It's like a brand new car. And then this thing drives like it's brand new. And then the generator light comes on. And Jake's like, stop fucking around. I go, dude, the generator, like, I didn't do that. And boom, I start the car, starts right up again. Okay, cool. Boom. 2 minutes later, generator light comes on. Jake says, stop fucking around. I go, dude, I'm not. The car, now it won't come on. So we pull over. I'm 6'5", at that time, 265. Jake's 6'6", 260. Kev's legit 6'10", 315. Monsters on the side of the road, no lights, car won't come on. Jake disappears into the dark. I go, Kev, where did he go? He's like, I have no idea. Now, if this is a rent-a-car, we're going to do everything we can to find a way home, but just leave the fucker there, right? But this is Rick Rude's car. We're not just going to leave this car unattended. So about 2 hours later, here comes this big-ass tow truck with Jake in the front seat drinking a beer. They put him and Nash and the truck driver, because only jammed 3 monsters in that truck. Yeah. I'm laying down in the back with freaking Rick Rude's car. It's 4 o'clock in the morning as we roll into this land of the Copenhagen dipping coupon clip of draft beer drinking rednecks. They find out that Jake Roberts is in the car. They don't know who we are. We're nobody. And there's like 60 people there that get pictures with Jake and, but that's my one story I can tell about Rick Rude. But he was a great guy. But going back to what you said, Southside, 10 years ago, it took my wrestling career. I started in 88. It took 8 years to be an overnight success. End of 1996, my career exploded. And that was 96. 97 and 98, I headlined 13 out of 24 either main event pay-per-views I was semi-main event. I live a dream on such a different level. I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal, and then I ruptured my L4 and L5. You could say I broke my back. I mean, I couldn't sit down like this. I had to lay out. This vertebrae that God gave us, this amazing back. In between it are these amazing little rubber shock absorbers that are called discs. And if you were to take a jelly donut and do that, that's what it would be like my discs to my L4 and L5. So I was told by 3 different spine specialists I would never wrestle again. Well, if I don't wrestle, I'm not going to get paid. And I just worked on top for 2 years and didn't get paid because my contract, it's kind of like those players in the NFL, like Prescott. When are they going to re-sign him for the Cowboys? Like he's been working for like $600,000 where he should be making like probably $15 million. It wasn't that dramatic, but it was pretty dramatic to me because I was making like $200,000 a year. And I'm working with everybody who's making 7 figures. Right. And I'm making low 6. And now I finally got paid, but now they're telling me my career's over. That's where DDP Yoga comes from. I'm even at a point where I'm branding it DDP. Why? Because I want people to stop calling it just fucking yoga, because it's not. Right. It's a piece of yoga, piece of rehabilitation techniques, piece of old school calisthenics, a piece of what I call dynamic tension, dynamic resistance, where you're engaging and flexing as you're moving, which gets your heart rate jacked up. The bottom line is, in less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career's over. At 43, I got this thing. And you're not getting this in a bottle of Cracker Jacks. You're not going to get this at Toys R Us. I mean, that's the real deal one, man. 10 pounds of gold. And the bottom line is that when it all came down to it, I was on fire for those next couple of years because of my program. And I did the same thing for Chris Jericho.
Dallas, didn't Jericho also train with you on the DDP yoga? Didn't you help him out?
I'll tell you what, he was really the first guy who really gave us a whole different level of credibility. Like when you're a professional athlete, your ego is really important because it's really what not just keeps you grounded, but keeps you believing in yourself. So I don't need somebody else's workout. I'll come up with my own, it's a lot of that. And Chris, he was in so much pain. He went to do Dancing with the Stars. And they actually tried to get me to do that. I'm like, I ain't doing that because I know how bad that is for your back. Like right now my back feels amazing, but I'm not running. I'm not doing things that's going to disrupt it. I'm not doing Dancing with the Stars for sure. But his pain was so severe in his back, he couldn't even sing with Fozzy. So when I saw him on Twitter and he had a bunch of acupuncture needles on his back, and I call him up, and Chris Jericho has answered the phone one time ever. Then and now is the first time he ever answered the phone. And it's like, hey, DDP. I was like, Chris. I said, yeah, I just saw your picture with the acupuncture. He goes, yeah, man, I've been meaning to call you. And I'm like, you're full of shit. He goes, no, really, I've been wanting, people, the fans have been saying to me, I should do Trish Stratus's yoga, or I should do your DDP yoga. And I'm only doing yours, bro, if I'm going to do it. I said, okay, stop talking there and just let me send you a video. And I sent him the video of Arthur Borman, a disabled veteran. 5 minutes later, he called me back. He said, I will do whatever you tell me to do. And 3 months later, he went from ridiculous pain to headlining against CM Punk at WrestleMania in Miami. And he just turned 49 in November. He signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal with AEW. I mean, the guy's still going 100%, but it's not just him. He opened it up for Dustin Rhodes, AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the guys that he would say, you got to do DDP yoga. I've turned so many artists, guitar players and drummers and guys he's played with or, gone on tour with, along with Fozzy. And I mean, I tell him, anybody, Chris, you want anybody to have it, let me know and I got you. And he's been one of my biggest supporters all the way through. He gave us a lot of credibility. And then, of course, Arthur Borman's video was the next thing to give us crazy credibility. And then, like you were saying earlier, the resurrection of Jake the Snake. And if you're watching this and you've never seen the resurrection of Jake the Snake, right now, the only place you can see it is on my app. And if you want to try my app out, cost you nothing. 7 days free trial. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, get rid of it. The bottom line is that right now is like, because there are no gyms open. Now in Georgia, they have opened them, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens because the whole space has changed right now. And you're going to see more stuff about home workouts than ever before. And I'm just glad that I put the last 5 years into just the app. I put it's been 16 years on my program, taking it from a business, 8 years of, like, is this ever going to happen? And then 8 years into it, boom, it takes off. And now it's just been on fire. And what I have on ddpyoganow.com or ddpy.com, because of all the kids being home, and they really shouldn't be out playing with all the other kids, it's kind of keeping everybody together. I put my series, my DDPY for kids, up on ddpyoga.com for free. So families who can't afford it, they can still do it with their kids. And it's me doing it with kids, 8 years old to 12 years old. And also, right now, because it's Mother's Day week, we did 25% off. Normally it's 10%, 15, maybe 20, but it's never 25%, and it's never more than 30%, like a day here, a day there. The only time that you will ever find a major deal on it is if you're in the military or you were in the military, because it's always Veterans Day at DDP Yoga. It's always 50% off.
Dude, that's awesome. And I don't think people realize how much it can help. I joke with my partner on Rock 100.5, Jason Bailey, and I know he does it from home. I go, dude, I've got a 3-year-old now, just turned 3 2 days ago, Dallas. And then my wife's having another baby June 18th. And I'm 55 years old, and I'm going to be chasing around those 2 kids. I know you think that's funny. That shit ain't funny.
For you. I'll tell you, I got 4 letters for you. DDPY.
Yeah, you need to get linked, man. You need to get linked.
Why? Because Grandpa, you're going to need it, bro. You see, I'm a grandpa at 64, but you're going to need it, brother, because you won't be a grandpa till 84.
All right, that's messed up, but it's true. So I swear to God, Dallas, all these years I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it. I've even been to your facility, in Marietta, and I've done it. And I'm like, man, I don't need this yet. Oh, I need it. I need it now.
You need it. You need it, brother.
So I'm coming to
Daddy, pick me up. Daddy, pick me up. Daddy, pick me up.
I got a question for you, and I didn't even run this by a doctor. I'm going to ask you, Dallas. My left arm, because this is the arm I hold Brooks with, he's about 30 pounds. That's nothing. I'm always picking him up every day. I notice now there's times where I go to pick up something that only weighs a pound. I'm like, oh, my God, my arm, collapses. Am I wearing out my left arm holding my kid?
I would, everything should be symmetric, Like when my little Oakley, my daughter Brittany named her Oakley Paige Palmer, so she's OPP. But I'm still always shit. She's only about 10 or 11 pounds right now. No, maybe it's about 12. But I'm always shift her. I'm always shifting her, because you don't want to just be wearing down that one arm, man. Everything should be symmetric. And 55, baby. Getting another baby. Good God. God bless you, bro.
I know. I found love late. I was a playboy. I was a hot mess. I drove to work from a different house every day for like 20 years. And now I find love and she wants kids. And now I've got my second one coming at 55, literally in 7 weeks. So.
Oh, God bless you, bro. God bless you. And you'll need it.
Well,
you'll need it. But
I just want to say
you're young-minded. You'll be great, dude. You'll be great.
Yeah, but I see you come in the studio and grab your toes and put your damn leg over your head, and I'm realizing, okay, Dallas is 9 years older than me. I mean, you're a machine, and
let's see if I can do that right now. Let's see if I can do it right now.
Do it.
Let's see. See if I can. All
he
right.
can. He can do it.
All right, hold on here. Hold on. Got squishy ass sneakers on. Let's see. There we go. Boom.
Look at that.
That's intense.
Dude,
that's core strength at a whole different level, brother. Whole different level. That's not a picture. That's me holding this thing. Bada boom.
Brett's face right now is insane.
Well, I will tell you, because I want to give these guys one more quick question, because I know we got to let you go. But for me, having you in the studio, we talk about you a lot, even though we don't get to talk to you. You're one of those like top 10 people that you just realize is a positive guy, a cool ass guy. You made the world a better place. You entertained us and you're helping others. You're just a special dude. And it meant a lot to have you on our 1 year anniversary. So I just want to say personally, thank you, Dallas.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure, man. My pleasure, boys.
All right.
Last
one question each, and we're going to let Mr. Page roll, boys.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'll fire one off. DDP, in 2000, the movie Ready to Rumble came out. Which you were the heel. Was that the peak of your cinematic career, would you say?
No, brother. No. I would say it was a fun time. I really enjoyed making Devil's Rejects. That was a lot of fun. But I have a new show coming out, man. Like, I've done a bunch of stuff, that's no one's seen. You know what I mean? Like, groups have seen. But I've done a bunch of stuff. But the thing that I'm the most proud of is a Netflix original series that's going to start probably towards the end of this year. And it's called Gods and Secrets. And it's a very dark superhero. I don't know how to explain it, except for it's like a live graphic novel meets video game from the 80s, like that Street Fighter stuff. Every fight scene's treated like a video game, and it's got a whole underlining bed like there's a real storyline, and it's my show.
That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, it's really dark.
Nice, man. When does that drop? When does that come out?
I'm hoping by the end of this year.
Okay.
It might be fall, but if it gets out by December, I'll be psyched. Would love it to come out right now. Everybody trapped at home would have loved that. If that damn Tiger King could get over.
Yeah.
All right. What was the biggest pop you ever had from a crowd? What would you say? Was it the time you turned on the NWO?
That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. Hitting Scott Hall that diamond cutter and the room. I would say Scott getting hit with a cutter and Randy Savage taking the cutter at Spring Stampede for the win was deafening. Like, I mean, the fans went batshit, and you did something right, It was 8 years, an 8-year overnight success to be a wrestler that got over. And then to right there at that 8-year mark for Randy Savage to have taken a diamond cutter, like that literally changed my life.
Amazing.
That's huge. That's huge. Thank you so much. We're going to give you a quit, and I know nobody is better at it than you. Go ahead and promote how people can get a hold of you or see you. You got about a minute and a half. Just talk about you, brother.
Well, I always tell people don't listen to a thing I say about my own company, and I mean it. I'm passionate about what I do for a reason, because it works. But I don't want you to listen to anything I have to say. Go on Facebook, and there's a DDP Yoga not my DDP Yoga Facebook. Go to the one that's members only, that are members of Facebook. There's about 46,000 people on this one site. Like back in the day, it's really hard to get people to chant DDP or Stone Cold or Hogan or Rocky. They got to be really invested. Online, it's really hard to get people to write really positive things about you. And I don't mean an awesome workout. I mean paragraphs. Every day, people who go to ddpyoga.com or ddpy.com, I know why everyone invested in the program, whether it's from Stone Cold's podcast to Joe Rogan's podcast, to Chris Jericho's, to something I did with Anderson Cooper or whatever. I know why people go there. The number one reason every single day is friends and family. That means people telling people, you got to do this. No, you really got to do this. And they're adamant about it. My Twitter @RealDDP, @DDP Yoga. My Instagram @Diamond Dallas Page, @DDP Yoga. Again, read what they write, because you can't make people write that stuff. They've got to be moved through passion to take the time to write about something because they want other people to benefit from it. So that's the best I can say.
That's awesome. And we're proud of our sponsors too. I want to thank oxygenfinancial.com, circle285.com, and Ridgeline Counseling with David Markwell. Our guest today, Diamond Page. Dallas Diamond Page. Woo!
Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page.
North side. It's been your pleasure. See ya. Bang!
Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
See you,
Take care, Dallas.
Take care.
And finishing up with you guys, I just want to thank, Brett Barney. I'm getting your name right, my co-host, and my on-again, off-again producer, Mr. Tyler Maynard, the Yeah Come On Show. This was a good one. I apologize for drinking and being tired, and I'll never hear the end of Diamond Dallas Page screwing that one up. So, yeah.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. See you guys.
To the Yeah Come On Show. 1 year, boys. 1 year. Yeah, come on. Special thanks to Thunder. Love walked in, baby. Love walked in.